The diversity of Phillipps' songs on Submarine Bells has surprised many rock critics, but not Flying Nun's Roger Shepard.
He's capable of writing pop tunes, or sort of quieter, more introspective, sort of epic-type songs. There's a great range there. But there's also like a real uniqueness, I think, that's sort of pretty much dependent on his personality. And that, I suppose there's sort of some of his better songs that really comes through. A sort of, I was going to say an oddness, but he wouldn't like it if I said that. Really? Would he?
Despite living overseas most of the time, Phillipps still does most of his creative writing in New Zealand, where he finds inspiration in the landforms and colours of the landscape.
I mean, generally I'll come up with riffs and so forth on a piano, which I enjoy playing a lot more than guitar generally, or guitar riffs, and I'll have pretty carefully catalogued on work tapes, and lyrically I'll come up with bits of prose, one-liners and so forth, which I keep in a notebook, and it's pretty much a matter of assembling things in my head a lot of the time. And now I work with a little porter studio, which has made things really good for mainly to be able to put together a rough version of a song and present it to the band, and they take it from there. After that, I'll really only make comments if it's really not going the right way. I like the band to interpret it their own way. I very much believe in being part of a band in terms of you can reach something, you can reach peaks that you'd never reach yourself. You know, surprises happen.
Martin's only 26, and he's written an awful lot of songs, and the songs have been getting progressively deeper and deeper, more meaningful to himself, I think, and to the rest of us. They haven't lost their original spark. There's dull, chill songs, but he'll always be able to pull one out of the hat, like Heavenly Poppet on the new album. When I first heard it, I thought, oh yeah, nah, it's a bit wishy-washy. It doesn't really sort of come to a point, Martin. But now, in this inimitable way that Martin's songs have, after a while it just sort of seeps in, and you can't help going around singing it, and you end up bloody loving it. It's really annoying. I wish I could do that. But yeah, there's always going to be songs like that Martin can come up with. It's seemingly at the drop of a hat, but I know a lot of craft goes into it.
Recently, the New Zealand Herald's critic wrote, "His lyrics are top-notch, his attention to light and atmosphere faultless. It's the musical equivalent of flying over New Zealand on a clear sunny day and shivering at the pure beauty of the greens, blues and greys below."
He puts a lot of himself into the songs, and I don't know whether he sees it as some form of therapy, but he rides a fine line between falling into a bit of self-indulgence and, as I said before, putting himself in the songs. He's always ridden that fine line, and he's never actually gone over it.
And I think now Martin is able to deal with his emotions and song in a much more direct way. On the new album, Submarine Bells, the difference is quite vast from the early recordings. The songs are still similar, you know, really lovely pop tunes, beautiful use of suggestive chord sequences, etc. But the lyrics are really sad. They're about loss. They're about being torn between a career, being the chills, and a girlfriend back in New Zealand. They're really wrenched from deep within himself. I find it difficult to listen to the whole album without nearly bursting into tears, actually, and feeling really sorry for him, because there's a lot of pain in there, which to me didn't seem to be there in early songs. I think that's symptomatic of the situation he's in, i.e. being away from everything he really loves, with, you know, all the depth he's capable of, i.e. New Zealand and the people here, the country here, everything about it. And it's no fun being on the road.
Within the album Submarine Bells, there were a lot of repeated themes of detachment and longing, loss. It's tough for a band coming from this part of the world, having to really tear up your roots and shift somewhere else to try and achieve something. There are a lot of reasons why we really can't run an international music career from New Zealand. I suppose the major reasons would be the lack of real support from within the country. Perhaps until now, maybe it's changed, but there's been a lot of personal sacrifice has gone into getting the band to where it is. I'd love to be able to commit myself to someone, say I could be in a certain place for a deal of time, but it's really hard. It's also hard having to take yourself away from your family. We're a pretty close family. There's always been a lot of support in that, and pretty much only get back for Christmases. You have a year of sort of life experience each, which you have to try and catch up on in a matter of a week or so. And there was a lot of that sort of sense of homelessness on Submarine Bells.
It's 10 years since the Chills and Martin Phillipps first emerged in the Dunedin music scene. Much of their story has read like a curse, but now there's a feeling that something is really happening with this band and Phillipps songs, and people are starting to wonder whether Phillipps and the Chills may do for New Zealand music what Bono and U2 did for Ireland.